What's up, Game Wars? Chief Rocky here, and today I'm going to be reviewing some of my workshop builds. My workshop builds go under a fictitious company that I made up called CED. CED stands for Combat Effective Designs. And I built a little ethos. That ethos kind of drives my mentality, what I'm looking for when I'm building something, based off of my gameplay, right? And what I perceive as the most important qualities to a vessel or a piece of military equipment. So I'm going to go ahead and read that ethos off to you. You don't have to listen to it if you don't want to. You could skip forward if you want. It's going to take about 1 minute max. All right, so the ethos is: integrity is the foundation of the company, designing and building equipment and vessels that are reliable. CED believes in purpose-built craft and equipment with a focus on industrial and military applications. If it is capable of everything, it excels at nothing. Function over form is critical. Rough and tough will provide for more than pretty and sleek. And no design will be considered complete until flight test, load test, and combat functionality tests required for military equipment and vessels are completed to a satisfactory degree. Again, these are what I believe are the principal guidances for me when I design equipment or vessels. They don't always turn out pretty. Obviously, you can see the Zion right here looks like a giant flying mini frog. But believe me, the functionality and what it is built to do, it excels at. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so we'll start with the outside. As you can see, it's got these legs. I think I've covered this in numerous different reviews for this. I think this is probably the second review I've done via video, but this is probably the 5th iteration of this ship. The feet were purpose-built because 2016 there was a bug in Space Engineers. Yes, I originally built this in Space Engineers. There was a bug that if you had landing gear and you landed on a planet, the planet would swallow your vessel. So the feet I built as a way around it so I could land my vessel. It still caused damage, but it was a way for me to land the craft without causing any damage to the ship, and I could be pretty stable. As you can see, it's got a wide base, a wide gate, so it could pretty much stable itself out pretty much anywhere. It will land kind of off put, but it won't tip over, right? Because the gate of the feet are a little wider than the actual structure of the craft. All right, so moving on. One of the greatest things I love about the feet is the fact that it sits so high. And it sits so high that, let me come out of this real quick and show you. I could walk underneath it. Yes, I am hovering because the terrain is a little uneven, and I want it to be, even when I go into the cockpit and the bridge area. But you could walk underneath this, even right here, right? So you could effect repairs pretty much anywhere on this craft. Okay, so you come under here and you can repair the landing gear, you can repair the spotlights or the landing lights, you can repair the thrusters down here. You could get underneath this. Same thing with an HV, right? This little HV landing area, I kind of added after the fact. This is kind of an Empyrion thing, so I was able to bring in a HV and dock it right here, and it works great. Don't think it's going to dock a medium HV, but a small HV like the Ladybug or my Little Devil series HVs are perfect for this, right? And you got a sentry turret here, and you have another sentry turret aft, and that just kind of gives 180 coverage here and there. It is kind of blind in this area, but most of the times you could handle those small little enemies that they're bringing towards you. All right, so moving on up, we'll go ahead and cover this right here, the front. So this is your bridge window, and then you got 2 driving spotlights, one top, one bottom, so you got maximum effective visibility. This bridge, window area is kind of decoration more than anything else. You only really need this spot right here, but I kind of did this as like the balcony overview for the second deck. Let's move up here to the turret. You got 1 cannon turret. I did that for simplicity reasons and also CPU limits. If you can see here, we are on the precipice of 200,000. So if I added another, let's say, sentry turret or cannon, it would be over the CPU limit. which then affects its tier rating, which then affects your guys' ability to spawn this in fast. And this whole idea of this starter SV, or CV rather, is to be cheap and quick. This is a cheap and effective way of getting off the planet with all of your gear. And I'm going to show you that later when I mean all of your gear. This thing holds a crap ton for its small, compact body and its cheap build. I'll show you. Okay, so you got two ladders on stairwells rather on either side. You can come up to the bridge. Let me show you that real quick. As long as it's even, you could do that. Sometimes it's not, and then you'll have to come back through the vehicle bay. You can see here we got thrusters all around. You got two on either side, both port and starboard. You got two facing forward, which gives you rear thrust, and 4 facing aft, which gets you forward thrust. You have 3 thrusters facing downwards, okay, and you have only 2 facing up. Now let me rephrase that. I said 3, I meant 3 on each side, so that's 6. So you have 6 lifting thrust. Okay, so that has a lot of lifting thrust based for anything else, and that is because this is primarily designed to evacuate the planet with all of your gear. Okay, so this thing will take pretty much everything that you need to get into outer space and start somewhere anew. This is basically a mobile base, essentially, but it's a cheap one that could get you off the planet if you so need to. Okay, and then you have the vehicle bay back here. A lot of these are made out of wall blocks, so it's very thin, but that is to keep it small and compact. I didn't want it to be a big giant box, so I used a lot of different blocks, a lot of different angles, and a lot of different half blocks. So obviously the hit points on these are going to be a lot less than what it would be, let's say here, or what it would be, say here. Okay, and obviously I missed this part, and I do apologize. I'm pretty excited about showing my build, so I'm going off everywhere. But these 2 areas right here are for additional turret placements. So you could put another cannon here, or you could put a multi-turret there, and you could put 2 cannons over here, or 2 miniguns, a cannon. Hell, you could even put replace this and put a multi-turret here if you want, if you so choose. All right, let's go into the actual vessel now. So this is your vehicle bay. Your vehicle bay could hold 2 small HVs, 2 small SVs, 1 medium SV, and 1 medium HV. All right, so it holds quite a bit. I wouldn't recommend a medium SV in here because the door clearance is kind of small. If it's a pretty tight fit, you could get it in there. And some medium HVs as well. It's mostly built for small HVs to just get in here and dock. But you can fit 2 of them kind of snugly and still get up here. You have your kind of little preparation area. There are spots here for additional cargo boxes if you want. I usually put additional small constructors to process ore, but you could do whatever you want here. Got some LEDs, especially I got a manufacture plate here. I do it on all my builds, a little manufacture plate. I actually got these, I think, off of one of Vermilion's LCD layouts he has on the forum. So thank you, Vermilion. I appreciate that. I did borrow it. All right, so you can come up the ladder and you can see here, this is not just for show, okay? These windows are so you could come into the vehicle bay and you could see up into the mechanical area, the engineering bay, and effectively see if anything's gotten damaged, if anything's offline, and you have visibility up there to kind of figure out what's going on. You can access that here, and again, I'm all about accessibility. You can see the Pataxid tank right here. That is so not only you can interact with the whole role-playing immersion thing, but that you could affect repairs as well. So let's get up in here. All right, so you're first greeted with the warp tank. So it is tight up here, and it is hot. There is a sign down here, caution hot, so and radioactive. So if you come up in here, make sure that you have the right gear. You can access most of the stuff from the P menu, but if you need to come up here to affect repairs, you can turn most of this stuff off. Everything is accessible on this craft from the inside. All right, so you have your gravity generator, you have your starboard generator, your port generator, and you have an area here for offline protection. Now, I chose to leave offline protection off of the craft because not a lot of people are going to use it. I had this idea to build this cheap CV when I was playing PvP, and a lot of those PvP servers, you have 7 days to get off the planet. And a lot of people, you know, they play 1 or 2 days there. So this is a cheap and reliable way to get off that planet before your stuff gets totally reset and you have to start over again. That was the primary reason of the Zion. And it is a very cheap logistics craft too, because you could use it continually for small, I don't know, mining operations and moving small or actually a decent amount of gear around and equipment. Okay. So let's go up in here. This is going to be the bridge area. This is the first level of the ship. All right, so you got obviously the pilot house, the window. You get your power save switch. Now this is inverted. As you can see, it's off. Okay, that means that thrusters and everything else are on. If I turn power save on, well then the thrusters turn off, and so does your port generator and your gravity generator and all of your thrusters. Okay, this is again power consumption. This is to save power to its maximum allowability. Okay, so that power save button is your friend on planets. Just remember that. You also have a medical chamber, a cloning chamber, a bathroom, and a shower on your first deck, and a constructor switch that turns on and off your constructor, again to save power. Okay, your second deck right here is just a constructor and an observation deck, so you could look out above and see the pretty view and look down into the pilot house. All right, your third deck, your core is dead center in the ship, kind of dead center and up a little bit, but that is for thrust, obviously. I won't get into that, but your thrust is based off of the center of your ship, so that's how I was able to maintain maneuverability so effectively on this craft. You have 4 plots. 4 plots is good enough just to make the necessities to survive. It's not the 9 plots you need for, let's say, ration farms, but it's enough to keep you surviving. You got a food processor, a refrigerator, and your ammo box. And this ventilator does all the decks of the main cabin area. And your fourth deck is a repair station, your armor locker, and an O2 station. Come down this passageway here where there is a wireless, and we go up into the actual SV landing area. The SV landing area is literally meant for a small, medium SV. Only one, okay? It's a small little landing area, but it suffices. So, again, this craft is very small, very compact, very cheap, but it is effective at what it does. And I'm going to show you that here on a test server with mass and volume enabled. So, let me take you right into that. All right, Gaming Warriors, so we're on the test playfield that I have set up, and right here I wanted to show you that mass and volume are on, and I have loaded up the Zion with pretty much everything I can. So again, I got my small little devil HY2 type DX loaded up here, and it is filled to the brim. So right here it's max filled and max filled. Alrighty, come up here. Go to cargo containers. Max filled. Max filled. Max filled. And max filled. We'll come down into the vehicle bay. This is max filled. I think that's max filled. Max filled. This max filled and max filled. All right, so one thing I forgot to show you is the mass of our cargo here. This thing holds 3,200 volume. That is quite a bit. As you can see, that's 400 combat steel blocks. So this thing holds quite a bit for a small and cheap CV. Okay, that's not to mention that the ammo container also holds 1,400. Okay, and the refrigerator holds a small amount too, but I did fill that up just in case because I want to show you that this does take off. So we have power save off. That means that everything is on and running and it's maxed out. So here we go. I will show you that this thing lifts off with no problem. And here we go. We're up and away. This is everything. So basically everything you need to leave the planet, you have it. We are on our way and taking up. It might take a minute to get up and out of the atmosphere, but we are up and we are ready to go. So let me go ahead and turn on. You guys can see. Gotta point up a little bit. Here we go. It's a slow move up, but we are up and out of here. For a cheap SV, or SV, why do I keep saying SV? So for a cheap CV, here we go. We're picking up momentum now. So for a cheap CV, you can't get no better than the Zion. Cheap, affordable, holds a hell of a lot of stuff, gets you off the planet quickly as hell. Yeah, can't really complain about this. Let's wait to see how long it takes to get up there. But again, I want to reiterate and stress this fact. This thing is max filled out. It is, and it's hauling 3 small SVs completely filled to the brim and an SV completely filled to the brim. So if you want to go mining with this thing on, let's say, the moon or out in the asteroid belt, hell, you don't even need any of these guys. You could just come out to the vehicle bay right here, open up the door, back it up into an asteroid. There's not much protruding except for the detector there to allow you to get real close to that asteroid. But if you want to get off the planet quickly and take almost everything you have on the starter planet with you, this is a very cheap and reliable way of doing so. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you like it, make sure to subscribe to it in the workshop. I have a link down below. Make sure you subscribe and like this video as well. It really does help, and I really do appreciate it. That's all I got. Chief Rocky out.